Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to go through the full process on how to paint a curb. This is a really exciting way, an easy, low-cost method to get into starting your own business, and I'll walk you through each of the individual steps you need to do to actually paint the curb on the sidewalk. So first off, you're going to start off, just blow some of the dirt and stuff out of the way, then grab a wire brush and wire brush the area to make sure that there's no excess dirt or some leftover flaky paint from an old curb. Just try to get it as wire brushed as I can, and then you can even use a grinding wheel with a wire disc as well to help speed up the process if you have that. But those wire brushes you can get at the Dollar Tree for $1, so it's a great deal if you go that way. And just blow it off, then take a piece of tape and line it up with the top of the curb so that the paint comes out straight. And after that, do your side pieces. Make sure that they're angled 90 degrees from the top piece so that you have sharp 90-degree angles. And then just complete that out, do the other side, and then do the bottom. You'll want about 5.5 inches from the top tape to the bottom tape, and that'll give you enough room for overlap for 4-inch numbers. Then I have these rubber mats that I cut out. I bought these some door mats at Walmart for $4 a piece, and then cut them into strips like this just to prevent overspray when you're painting back and forth. And it really helps out as far as speed goes, because now you don't have to worry about slowing down when you get to the ends on this left to right motion painting. So then you go ahead and paint like this. This is a new can of Rust-Oleum enamel paint, and they have different nozzles on it, and you can rotate it to
it's really important to get the numbers right.
Kind of like a fan
done that wrong
nozzle.
Before.
So then you take your stencils. These I got on Amazon. I got 2 packs of number stencils just so I had 4 numbers of each stencil, which is really handy to have. And you'll want to assemble them and use this little 1/4-inch tape to tape the numbers together. You can see on here that the numbers are overlapped so that even if you don't tape them perfectly, no paint gets by. And you'll want to make sure that they're all very straight and in line with each other so that you don't get any wonky numbers when you go to paint it. So you fold those pieces of tape over on each number, and then I'm just doing some extra drying because I did this pretty quick, and depending on the weather outside, sometimes it'll dry more quickly. If it's hotter, if it's cooler, it'll take a lot longer, and you want it to be relatively dry before you put the numbers in place. So you'll want to center it on there. In this case, I'm going to be doing a logo on the left, so I don't quite center it in the middle of the rectangle. And then you'll take some more pieces of tape and just tape the top, bottom, and sides on the number. This helps hold the number down so that the individual pieces inside the number, such as on the 0, are as close to the surface of the paint as possible. And then continue to tape. And then when you take your when you're done taping, you'll then want to take your rubber mats again and lay it over the edges of the tape, just like we did in the previous. Okay, now that you've got your rubber mats out, you go ahead and start painting the numbers. I'm using a black Rust-Oleum enamel here, and I try to paint in the same direction as the number. So if it's like a 0, I'll go up and down, and 1, I'll go up and down. If it's a 2, I'll try to go from left to right on the 2, and then up and down kind of on the cross part that goes down, and that just helps keep the paint from bleeding under the stencil and having overspray from the stencil. So here's the fun part, peeling the stencil back. This one came out really well. Not much bleeding under the stencil, and it looks pretty good. Okay, now on to the stencil part. This stencil I cut out by hand. Actually, I used a plastic folder that I bought at Walmart, and then an X-Acto knife, and I printed out the stencil, taped it on top of the folder, and then cut it out with the X-Acto knife. I've since upgraded to a Cricut machine, and they make this Cricut Joy, it's called, and it handles 4.5-inch stencils, which is perfect for curb painting. So now this stencil it's old, so the little individual pieces are coming up, so I'm trying to do my best to kind of hold the individual pieces down so that when I paint it, the paint actually goes where it's supposed to. It's a little bit difficult with the Cricut machine. I haven't had that many issue because it's actually got a sticky back. I use what's called a smart stencil on there, and the back is sticky, so you can take it off and actually plaster it down to the curb, which helps out a lot. Okay, so now, like I said, that stencil was pretty old, so now I'm just trying to do some touch-ups with paintbrush and just kind of refine it a little bit more. You can't really notice from a distance when you're looking at the overspray, but when you get close, it really helps out to refine it. And then finally, the fun part, peeling back all the tape and making sure all those lines are nice and sharp. Thanks for watching, and I hope you can go out and make some money.